Hey, thanks for checking out my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thanks for clicking on me, and if not, this means you're a subscriber and you've come back for more, which is cool too. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and this is my review of House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 7. I'm a blind film critic. All of these dragons, I don't know. Do they look any different? I have no idea. But now I'm supposed to remember names of dragons, and I'm just like, I can't. I can't. But yeah. So this show, for the most part, is it's fun because I'm watching this and Lord of the Rings at the same time, and both shows have characters with like atypical names, but House of the Dragon has done a better job of corralling its cast and knowing we can't expand too far with too many characters too quickly. So we're in episode 7, which is like only one episode ahead of Lord of the Rings, I believe. And Lord of the Rings has a gigantic cast that I cannot for the life of me keep up with. Meanwhile, this one, I basically know who everyone is, except for like a couple characters who've only been in like 2 episodes. Like if you ask me to name Damon's daughters, no. I know he has them. I don't know what their names are. I'm so sorry. I have a hard time even with Aemon and Aegon, like remembering which one was the older one. I'm like, did you have to name your kids like so close together, like relatively the same name? So yeah, so that is I don't know what to do with the show anymore. I've had conversations with some people online about it, and I know it's following the books, but listen, you don't always have to follow the book. You don't always have to follow the story. Walking Dead didn't follow the story, and Walking Dead did just fine until it ironically followed the story. If you ask most people who stopped watching The Walking Dead when they stopped watching The Walking Dead, it was when Glenn died. That was his death in the comic books. Everybody knew it was coming. Like, they were just waiting to see whether or not The Walking Dead would subvert it. Like, they had some other deaths, but some other people did get their deaths in the comic book, so not everybody jumped their deaths. They just gave Glenn's death. You should be more upset about Abraham's death, because that's not where Abraham dies. He had already survived his death. So, yeah, so Walking Dead had done such a good job of keeping characters around longer, killing them off sooner, playing around with the timeline, and even creating characters out of thin air like Daryl Dixon, and just actually adapting and telling this wholly unique story that way people who read the comic book series could enjoy something that felt fresh, but also paid a lot of homage to the series, whereas this one seems to be like, we're just gonna do it. It doesn't even matter if George R.R. Martin wrote it. The problem that I have is I don't think anybody wants, and I asked this, and I had people defend it, right? But nobody actually ever answered my question. I had a lot of people who jumped in and were like, that's how it is in the books. Well, historically, there was a lot of incest. My question was, is there anybody out there who actually wants to see Damon and Rayna get together? No one answered yes. They all gave like excuses and reasons, like they were defending George R.R. Martin's choice to do so, but nobody was actually like, yes, this is a great coupling, really excited about it. So that's my problem, is you're taking who initially was the most likable character, and you've put her with her uncle, who is generationally, I mean, she was like a little girl the first time he tried this, and now I got through the audio description, Damon thrusting into Rayna, and I was like, God damn it. And I really don't know what to do with this show anymore, because it's gross, and I hate it. And then Alicent has completely gone off the rails as a character. I was just like, oh my god, what is your problem? What is your problem? Like, you are... I'm thinking about Game of Thrones like a like as a world, and how some of the other people have been treated, and for Alicent to stand there and defy her king and try to attack Rayna, I'm like, how is she alive? Like, I feel like, I mean, Henry VIII went through 8 wives, so if we're talking, you know, historical relevance, Alicent should be dead. Like, Viserys should have sat there in a situation and been like, well, I can, who do I choose? My daughter or my second wife? That's a tough one. Obviously, Alicent's becoming a problem, and Viserys just doesn't want to deal with it. And it's really unfortunate. So the show is like writing its own problems. It's blocking itself into corners. And it's doing so because that's how Martin wrote the story. You can change the story. You did the whole like last half of Game of Thrones, the series, once you surpassed the books and he stopped writing fast enough for you to be able to adapt them. You started coming up with your own stuff. Granted, the last season didn't go well for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean... that's just having the right showrunner with the right vision and the right ideas. It has nothing to do with being able to veer away from a storyline. They could drop a character in the middle of this show right now who is not in the book at all, and I'm sure he would exist just fine and nobody would bitch about it. So it's it would add for some unexpected... That's one of the great things about Daryl is in The Walking Dead. I know these two shows are not the same thing. One has dragons and the other has zombies, but one of the great things about Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead is that he has there's no expectation for anything he ever does. He's not a character. So since day one, it's always been, whenever he interacts with anything, or a character or a plot, he can come in and he can sort of change it and manipulate it because he's creating his own space. And we could have done that here. We could have just introduced somebody else for Rayna, but no, we're super interested. 7 episodes in, we think our audience is committed to the idea that these two need to be together in season 1. And I just disagree. I think TV shows don't run for long with an entire cast that you don't like, that is unrelatable. And everyone here is unrelatable. The kids are, except for maybe Damon's daughters, who are too young to be obnoxious at this point, everyone's kind of obnoxious. Or they're evil, or they're conspiring. Even Succession has Greg. That is... If you've ever wondered why Greg exists in Succession, it's because he's supposed to be so stupid and so pure that he's not. He's not the entitled brat that everyone else is. You see him get tastes of having money and then being worried about not having it. But he's not nearly on the same level as the other Roys. And that is why Greg is there, is to show you the contrast. Because he's constantly in the room and he constantly reacts differently than everybody else. So when you're having a hard time relating to the rest of the cast of Succession, there's Greg, and he's like, I don't know, I don't want to go to jail. I feel like I'm going to get arrested and I should probably go talk to the FBI. And it's like, well, that's kind of the choice I would make as a person. In this situation, I don't know that I would fall on the sword for them. So, you see him sort of struggling with a lot of the choices that you would make. There's no one here that the audience would relate to. There's not a single person anymore who the audience is like, yes, I'm connected spiritually to. No. No, it doesn't exist. Game of Thrones had that. You know, Game of Thrones, people were you know, they were rooting for Arya for years. I mean, Arya was had, you know, zero problems. We were always worried about making sure that Arya made it through the show. And lo and behold, look what happened at the end of this show. Who was the character most requesting, who had the most requested spinoff? It was Arya. There was talk about like putting her on a ship and sailing her to the new world. And yeah, so I push back on that. I push back on that idea hard, that you need that a cast full of these tragic characters that balance good and evil, and within all of them can survive. It can't, and I don't think this is going to go for very long unless somebody can figure out how to be the good guy here. Someone has to come out and actually be the, hey, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. There's no one who does that in this cast, except, again, perhaps Damon's little girls who are too young to fuck this up right now. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, a lot happened in this episode, obviously. And I don't know, I wasn't here for all of it. Viserys' reactions to things just frustrate me. The choices that he makes. He asks his son for the truth. Like his son's going to give him the truth. Like the one with... First of all, they're all yours. You know, I mean... What, you don't care what your grandkids have to say about anything? I think if you asked, you would find out the story, but you're not going to find out the story from him. You know, what you should do is, instead of keeping them all in the same room together, you know, have them come in one at a time, and then you'll find out who's a better idea of the story. But no, let's just ask the asshole what happened. I like that he looked up at his mom. I know his brother jumped in and was trying to be like, it was me, saved his mom. But you know, Viserys knows. Like, why didn't he do anything? So, do I like the show? It's interesting. I like watching it, but I can't give this show A's anymore. It's not an A quality show. It was when these girls were young, but the last 2 episodes have just been exhausting, and not in a good way. So I was here for it. I was like, we are on a path, and I want to see this. And I thought we were going to grow up with these kids and see them. I thought we were more long-term than this. I didn't think 5 episodes and suddenly we were going to time jump that quickly. And now we're here, and it's just... now Damon's inside Rayna, and I just can't deal with it. So that's just me. I'm going to give this episode a B+. So it's got enough action, and I'm interested, but the show is trending downward for me. And not great for a season 1 show. Anyway, that's it. So if you made it this far and you like me, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the year. You can go to my website, macmovieguy.com, for more reviews. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And the adno.org is like IMDb for the people who work in the audio description community. It's got a lot of their, like, how many different shows they've all done. You can check out their resumes over there. Anyway, that's it from me. I gotta go review something else. And I'll see you next week with this show, and see you on the other side.